Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
Thank you for joining us this evening. It's just great. So, how are you handling everything through this whole pandemic?
I think it's certainly a mixed bag. There is some silver lining to it, but I think overall I'd rather not have the silver lining and just have it be, a normal year. But overall, managing well. We've been working on the next record, which by being home all the time, we actually are kind of have a little more of a leg up towards a record we're thinking about releasing at the beginning of 2022.
Yeah.
We're sort of, this is the record that's coming out in January is one that it's our second album. And what I've learned from the business side is when you want to release a record, you have to have it finished 6 to 9 months before the release date.
Yeah, that's smart. That's how you have to do it in the business. Just get everything prepped and get all the promo ready.
Right. I mean, all the promo people start, 3 months in advance, and you have to. So before that, after the album is finished, you're shooting pictures and you're making a video and you're, figuring out who's going to be the publicist. And it's like. So I think the first two albums, the first album we definitely were behind the whole way. And the second one, we were planning on a June release and, got pushed off to January. And maybe we took a more relaxed pace, but we still just seemed to have barely made it to have all the pieces in place. So.
And the debut album is Gone South, and that was just like a year ago that it was released?
Released that last summer, so summer 2019. So we're sort of on track to try to release a record every year.
That's great.
3 or 4 years.
He's very ambitious.
And I like to write songs, so.
Yeah, I think that's how it works with Elton John and Bernie Taupin, how they were able to have such a volume of great music coming out almost every year for close to a half century. So somebody's doing the lyrics and the other is doing the melody, and it just works. I mean, it's a bit different. How does it come together with both of you and how you're getting this output done?
It seems like I'm doing more of the songwriting than Laura. Laura's doing the curating, should I say. Meaning that she's the one who decides which songs actually will make it to the record. And, the rest are littered around my studio, hanging on like, don't forget me. Yeah. So my massive ego is definitely being kept in check. The writing process itself is something that I tend to write lyrics first. I'm not sure how Laura does it for her. I definitely write lyrics first. I'll sort of write stream of consciousness, a lot of times notes on my phone, and just like write everything. Like once there's a subject or a hook or something, I'll just throw down all my ideas and then pull it into the studio, open up a Word doc, and try to arrange the story in a way that I can start to put some music to it. So that's kind of how it works. And then from there, I'll continually record demos. Sometimes it only takes a day or two. Sometimes it takes a week. But I'll record demos on my phone, just myself singing and playing. And you don't want to hear those because I am not a good singer. And then eventually, when I think it's ready, I will dare to play it for our in-house A&R, who will quickly decide thumbs up or thumbs down. I don't have very much time.
I think I know in the first 3 to 5 seconds whether something is working and, or whether it's just.
I thought I had a minute and a half.
Much
5 to
less time
10
than
seconds.
you think. No.
Yeah, it's good to work spontaneously like that. I think some of the best stuff is spontaneous.
Totally. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, early on this year, because the process has been a little bit different this year. Prior to this year, I had dual careers. I was working another job, which actually I had another business that I'd been doing for a long time. And so the first 2 records, Gone South and the one we're putting on now, Long Rider, was kind of done in fits and starts. When I had some downtime from work, I would squeeze, my time in there. So it was there was a certain amount of stop and start on both those albums. The one that we're working on for 2022, because I managed to shed my other profession, fortunately, that this one's been a little more consistent in sort of the process of it. But what it's meant is that in the beginning, when she was shooting down all the songs I was giving her, in the beginning I was just wondering, well, why don't you like this song? I was getting defensive. She said, "What? The bar is set high. If you love the song and I say no, you got to fight for it." I'm like, okay. So on that particular song, when she said that, she asked me, "Well, so do you love this song that I'm turning down?" I said, "Well, I like it. I don't know if I love it. I have various relationships with all these songs, and some I just know are right. Others, they just come out, and you just sort of go where they lead you, and that's that."
This is a two-way street, though, because when I want to present a song, equally as brutally honest with me. So.
Yeah, that's radical candor, and I think you seem to be very comfortable doing that. How did you meet, and how long have you been married? How long has this been going?
I've told this story a number of times. It's kind of a cute story. I met her through a want ad. Singer wanted. And I was on a project with a friend of mine who was a lyricist. I've had my own studio in the house for many, many years. And we were writing songs for about a year. And I was attempting to sing, which was not working out. So I placed an ad for a singer and had 50 some odd people respond. And I knew by that time I had enough experience that I just shouldn't have 50 people over to my studio to audition. So I went to people's houses. They play. I said, "Play me the best thing you've done in the last 5 years, so I can hear how you sing. I'll play you what we're doing." And as a result of that, there were 2 people who were invited over to the studio. Laura and one other person. Laura was interested, and then so we exchanged information, and I left music with her. And about a month had gone by and hadn't heard from her. So I called her up and said, "Are you still interested?" She said, "Well, yeah." She says, "But I lost your number."
Oh, I hate hearing that.
If I hadn't followed up, my life would have been quite different. So we started, the 3 of us started writing together, and we would basically have sessions like 2-3 times a week where we'd get together, the lyricist would bring in lyrics. It was a very Bernie Taupin, Elton John thing. He'd bring in lyrics, I'd write music, we'd record it right then and there. And we would do that. We did that for like 6 months. And in the course of doing that, and it's typical the case when you play in bands with people, you get to be really good friends with them pretty quickly. Okay. And we became good friends, and I think that there was just that tipping point, where it turned, and within 3 months after that, the lyricist was out, because Laura said, "Oh, I want to sing what I want to put forth," and I think I write better songs and better lyrics. So he wasn't very happy when he heard that we had kind of tipped over to something different.
I don't remember it this way, but
Yeah.
that's how he remembers it.
Well,
so.
he was my friend. Laura didn't know him up until then. So, but that's how we met, and sort of been together ever since. We didn't really date ever. It just sort of happened. I mean, we were already really good friends.
Just friends and happy.
Yeah.
So, however, I do have to say, and this is maybe a piece of advice for single people out there.
Yeah.
As much as I might have successfully wooed her because of my incredible guitar skills and songwriting, I actually think it was my cooking that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The cooking always, yeah, definitely. Have a good breakfast, yeah, make it. Yeah, that's always very, very nice.
Oh yeah. It was
Yeah.
your chicken stir fry that
It was the
won
chicken.
my heart.
It was the chicken stir fry.
First. Yeah.
There you go.
And you'll be combining the cooking and the music with a YouTube series. Was that something that has been planned?
Oh yeah, we shot. Our very lovely manager Aaron Anderson from Olivia Management. When we first started working with her, and she was consulting us, she said, "Oh, my artists always do some kind of guerrilla marketing for every release." So we did something for the first album, and then I was trying to think of something for the second one. I said, "Well, let's like do a food show. Like, we'll see if we can do it." Of course, we're total amateurs when it comes to shooting video, but we got a couple cameras, we got a couple lights, and we shot 5 shows in the kitchen. They're about 10 minutes long. It's called 3 Pairs of Boots, Cooking and Country.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're going to put them out pretty soon. We're going to probably put out like 1 per month. And it's just, I play, 30 seconds or so of a song that's on the album. I launch into a little cooking spiel. And then at the end, she comes on and we do about 1.5 minutes. And that's that. It was fun. Every time we did one, it was like, oh, we did A, B, C wrong. Let's fix that. And next time it was like, oh, there's a different A, B, C that we didn't do right. Let's fix that. So I think perhaps maybe by the time we got through the 5 episodes, we finally had learned how to do it. But of course, we haven't done any more since then. So
what a great marketing tool as well. That's just really awesome. So getting back to the business of the band, 3 Pairs of Boots. Where did that come from? Is that the big question, or is it a big mystery as to where that came from?
Maybe we should let it be a mystery.
You have Maroon 5. Yeah. It's a big mystery.
We were actually doing, so we've done a number of different musical adventures. We've done dance music, and we've done Latin, and played in a lot of rock bands.
Rock en Espanol.
We did some
did
Latin
that.
rock. But really, like when I look back at how I grew up musically and who I listened to, this genre, this sort of combination of rock and folk and country all sort of mashed together, I realized like I had been listening to this since I was a kid. Buffalo Springfield, the Byrds, Crosby, Stills and Nash, all that great stuff that, Graham Parsons. So we were kind of inspired to do something, and a friend of ours, a good friend of ours, Happy Sanchez, who I have played in some other bands with. I was doing, in fact, when 3 Pairs of Boots started, I was also playing in a Latin funk 11-piece band called the Hispanic All-Stars. And so Happy said, I mentioned to him that we wanted to try to do some Americana stuff. He said, well, I'll come in and help you do some songwriting. So we did some songwriting together. And I was thinking that, this may, go down the road with him involved. I thought, well, I need a name that sort of, denotes the fact that there's 3 of us. So it's always hard to find a good name. But that's kind of how it came out. I was like, somehow I got into 3 Pairs of Boots. Thought, well, that's a good way to say that there's 3 people involved. But then after he wrote that first set of songs, he went off. He's great at starting projects, sometimes not so great at finishing them. But he went off and he's done, he did he did a Hispanic All-Stars record. He's got another Latin band that I actually played with back in the 90s. He and I started a band called Los Mocosos. So he went off to that record, and then we were kind of on our own. But honestly, I think that doing that first round of songs with him, we were kind of just getting together and spitballing ideas back and forth between all three of us. But I discovered pretty quickly that writing this style really requires, at least for me, a more well thought out process. That the songs have to evolve. That the lyrics are so important. You've got to get the story right, and it just was a process that really needed more time put into each song and more thought, as opposed to just sort of like, let's slap it together. Really, the first set of songs are okay, but what came out of there's a couple songs that came out of those first sessions that she and I had just written on our own that made it to the first record. And that was kind of like, that's the direction, from a songwriting point of view, the process of how best for us to write songs.
The lyrics, 3 pairs of boots, is in the track "Take a Step."
Yeah,
I noticed that, weaving it in there. That's and a great new album, Long Rider. And there are origins beyond the title of this album. Where did that inspiration come from?
We were inspired by a friend of ours who's amongst her many talents, she's a filmmaker. And she lived up until recently in Santa Fe, owned a couple horses. She was a real horse gal. She's an acupuncturist and actually had a business doing acupuncture for horses. And met a woman who was a long rider and ended up doing a film about her called Lady Long Rider. And Long Rider, if people are not familiar with what that means, this is a woman who went out for a ride for 6 months, a year, 18 months, Mexico to Canada, East Coast to West Coast. Incredible stories, incredible journey, very inspiring. The stories about the people she met in all these small towns across this country, and how nice and sweet and caring and willing to lend a hand with barely even being asked. So many stories for her of where she was invited into somebody's house for dinner, and if they had a barn, it's like, put your horses in there, get them out of the weather. Just really, really moving stories. And so our friend, the filmmaker, asked us to write a few songs, potentially for the documentary, which we did. And in the course of her just talking about the experiences that Bernice, the long rider, had, led to several songs, Everywhere I Go and Angels of the Trail. And they took on, they were inspired by this person, but they really took on bigger meanings about life. Everywhere I Go is just about, trying to feel comfortable wherever you are. And it's not like, I just think that life is not permanent for anybody, really. Even though you might have a house where you live, you're always, you're moving, you're traveling, and it's just, for her, it was about really being comfortable no matter where she was. And there's a line in the chorus about, having your spirits in your saddle. And that's, to me, is about just being able to carry all those great memories that you've had, for experiences that you've gone through, and all the people that that support you, that love you.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
Seeing is believing, and you're not going to believe how bright and vivid the colors are on the Samsung Neo QLED and OLED TVs powered by the Neural Quantum Processor, because this is an audio ad. Unless you can see it, which means you already have one. Nice. Samsung, more wow than ever.
And you sort of carry that with you, like just, who's the Peanuts character? Always had the blanket, Linus.
Yeah, it was Linus.
It's kind of like that was like your blanket.
Comfort.
So it wasn't. We've been asked, well, how did you make this concept album? Well, it didn't start that way. We just sort of started writing songs, and then that sort of came up early on, and it turned into not really a concept album, but definitely a point of view about our experiences and her experiences that sort of inspired us to write the other songs that are not really about her or inspired by her, but still seem to fit within the general point of view that we were feeling at that time.
That we're all long riders.
Yeah, and we both feel like
everybody.
Yeah, like everybody is a long rider. I mean, we both started playing in our teens, still playing and still searching. The long winding road, as they would say.
Yeah.
That's where the inspiration really came from. It really started with, in terms of sort of fleshing out. It was really with Bernice and the Lady Longrider story.
You have so many influences on this new album. It's just such a melange of just like anything that you mentioning. The first of hearing Purple Haze all the way through a lot of rollicking country type feel to it. So it seems to showcase how long you have been interested in music. You could tell it's an expansive set of interests. Do you both share that exactly? How far back does it go for you when you first discovered music?
I was 12 when I started playing guitar, and didn't study music until college. I played in bands. I learned to play the records, and then eventually in college I studied music. Laura has a different, similar in some ways, but
Oh yeah, I bought my first guitar when I was 15, I believe, and wrote my first song, and then I was hooked, and I didn't know how I was going to start a band or who I would play with, but that became my obsession, and so things started to happen that way. I even got a few vocal jobs in various bands in and out. So the music, I think for both of us, is just a huge part of our existence, and from the very beginning.
We are not exactly the same age, so our early influences are different in terms of where we started.
Sure.
I remember when I first met her, she gave me a record for somebody who I had never listened to before, and it was so inspirational, and just like I just felt, it was one of the reasons why I fell in love with her, is that she gave me a record by Kate Bush.
Yeah.
Love. It's like, this is amazing. Just I love that. I mean, I'm a big fan of, I guess you'd say, impressionism. I like that, whether it's the Byrds, the Buffalo Springfield, or the Smiths, or the Cocteau Twins, or Debussy, or Ravel, or Prokofiev. Miles Davis. Like there's that. There's just that something that a lot of these artists can put forth that really have just a lot of layers, a lot of depth, to them. And Kate Bush was just another one of those just incredible artists that, it's so amazing when you discover something that's like, how did I miss that?
Yeah. She was kind of like under the radar, especially when I was in college, and we were just like, when we stumbled on her, it's like this amazing voice. Any other artists, Laura, that really inspire you vocally? I mean, I think I hear Cyndi Lauper a little bit in there.
People say that, and oddly enough, I mean, I was, let's see, at the time, oh gosh, I was into Susie and the Banshees. I was Patti Smith, and Chrissy Hind of the Pretenders, of course, like strong female vocalists who had a point of view. And I mean, I love Cyndi, but yeah, I don't know if she was an inspiration exactly. But
yeah, you were more of a Chrissy Hind. And
I like that whole girl with a bunch of guys in the band, and I guess because I grew up with a brother, and it's like that guy energy. I just felt like one of the guys, and
Yeah, and they really worked through like a very male-dominated business up through the 80s, and before that, it must have been so tough for some. Chrissy Hind, I saw her once, and yeah, it's really tough, but so good. And that's how the success comes through on that. I think it's great how you complement each other, though. You could bring in Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and then you bring in the Smiths. It's just, I think that's great how it's a yin-yang kind of thing.
And I thought on the first record, I was really like, okay, we're really making a country record now. This is great. I'm loving it. Because, I mean, I'm a guitar player, and I've been, and there's so much guitar in this music. And during one of the mix sessions, our engineer stopped a song in the middle of it, and it has this it has a composed, jangly kind of solo section. And he stops and he looks at me and he goes, so, when does Morrissey start singing? I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I kind of see that.
How did that
even though I thought we were doing country.
I remember that. Meat is Murder was like huge when it goes way back. That very interesting music. I love that. Going back to that, Susie and the Banshees, which was just huge at that time.
Oh, I mean, it's just so fun.
Absolutely. Did you get to do a lot of live performing before this whole pandemic thing hit? Have you been able to be around Nashville and do a lot of live performing?
We were just getting started.
Yeah, we were just starting.
And we had just done a couple of gigs up here in Northern California before it all came down. And we had just taken a trip to Nashville.
Our first time.
Our very first time, yeah.
Went back, shot a video there.
Yes. It was the video for the new album?
Right. It's going to be for the song Quittin' Time.
Okay.
For Quittin' Time.
Which is now the first single, the lead-off single for the album.
That was, it's coming out, with the Americana genre, they tend not to promote, quote, singles, but we've already released, but you premiere songs. So we premiered a couple, and Quittin' Time will be premiered before the album, somewhere in the middle of January, and the video will get released at that time as well. So, but it's too bad because we started as a studio project with the idea we'll put out an album and then we'll sort of slide into the live thing. And I wasn't really sure how we were going to do that because the albums are full band with lots and lots of tracks, and yet when we play live, as you may find out in a minute or two, we're boiling down, layers and layers of tracks down to one guitar, one singer. And it's been challenging, but a lot of fun. But it is a little disappointing. I mean, I had these visions of like, okay, we're going to release the record in June, and then we're going to go to Nashville and book a bunch of gigs around Tennessee and North Carolina. And it's like, we're not going to.
I really hope it comes back. I tell this to everybody, and I want to be a big cheerleader for getting people's music out there because it's been hitting people so bad. I know people, you're not getting the same exact feel if you're doing a Facebook Live kind of thing, which is nice, and people are viewing, but you need that instant response.
So true.
Yeah, it's been a little tough. We've done a few live streams so far and still figuring out exactly what the best way to do them. And then there's variations on the theme. You know, we just did an Instagram live interview and played a song, and now we're doing a Zoom live. And before that, we were doing some live streaming directly to YouTube or Facebook through a software called OBS. So musicians these days, if they want to play, and we're all playing live stream, you have to be flexible because it's not just, oh, there's just one way to live stream.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
There's multiple ways, and so we're just starting to figure it out. I mean, today, when I first tested the live sound, I was like, why doesn't it sound good? And, you know, did a lot of experimenting, trying different mics, and I eventually called a good friend of ours who mixed part of the record, who's a mix engineer.
Yeah.
Bart, help us. We're going to, you know, we're doing a, you know, an interview and going to play a little bit at 4:00, you know. So I think we got it worked out.
It's great. It really is. But yeah, it's like, you know, it is a little nerve wracking because you want it to sound decent. And having those experts around you really pretty much helps too. And it's, you have like some people, you know, pretty important people on this new project that you got together for Long Rider.
Yeah, we're very fortunate, very blessed to have some very good people help us along the way. We have a good little group of insiders, 3 or 4 people that will listen to songs we're thinking about for the record, and a couple of very good mix engineers. Had an incredible drummer, Christian Paschal, who's the drummer and band leader for Maren Morris, who we've never met him.
Wow.
Of course, crazy. These days, you know, we're sending Pro Tool files back and forth. But the drummer that we used in the first record, for whatever reason, wasn't quite fitting what I was hearing the second record. And, you know, I came home one day and told Laura, you know what? I'm going to find a Nashville guy to play on the record. And ran across Christian, and he sent us a song, and Laura heard it one time through. She said, we're hiring that guy for the whole record.
The first 5 seconds of him playing, yeah.
And he's just a super nice guy and great drummer, and has his own recording studio. It's interesting. I mean, the whole Nashville thing. I mean, I'm so disappointed that we haven't gotten to spend more time there. The music scene there is amazing. So many great players. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems like everybody inspires each other. Music City is just very intense, and it's kind of nice. But I love, you know, the California sound too. I love the Eagles, and you know, millions do. It's so woven into America. It's just such a wonderful, comforting sound. I think you've really captured it on this new project. Did you care to do some songs here? I think your first single, "Quittin' Time." Would you like to start off with that one?
Well, we actually haven't rehearsed that one in a while. We had worked up a version of the very first song that got premiered called "Everywhere I Go," and did a little practicing on "Take a Step" as well, which is a little bit of a sort of a biography. But we can start with "Everywhere I Go," which is one that was written, inspired by the Lady Long Rider.
Everywhere I go, I'm home. Everywhere I go, I'm home. I'm never alone. Got those spirits in my time to be bold. Head for the horizon. So I swapped down my rocking chair for my Norwegian fjord. Everywhere I go, I'm home. Everywhere I go, I'm home. And I'm never alone. Got those spirits in my saddle. Now everywhere I go, I'm home. Freedom's hard work, it's true. You can take my word for it. And it takes a lot of guts to leave the ground behind. But now I ride every day in this mine, where every stranger turns into a friend. And it's the beginning, not the end. I ride on the edge, on a wave of uncertainty. But that's the beauty, the mystery of a long journey. If you could see what I see, how wonderful people can be. Unexpected generosity. You'd have a new point of view of who shares the words with you. If you only knew, if you only knew. Everywhere I go, I'm home. Everywhere I go, I'm home. I'm never alone. Got those spirits in my saddle. Now everywhere I go, I'm home. Now everywhere I go, I'm home.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very well done. Yeah, everywhere I go, I'm home. It's such a comforting feeling. I love that. It's just very that lullaby kind of thing. Very nice. Very nice. The cover for this album, you did it. This was a nice photo shoot that I was reading about. How did that all come together?
It was fun. That was a fun day.
Yeah, it was really great working with Eric. We were originally scheduled to go back to Nashville to shoot pictures with the video director, and they had this little thing called a tornado back there, if you remember that.
February? Was that?
Yeah, it was like late February, something like that.
Oh.
COVID shut everything down.
And we were already thinking, oh, maybe, what is this COVID thing? And maybe we should think about this. And then tornado hit.
Yeah, tornado. So we had a pivot, and I had worked with Eric Wolfinger in my other business, and he was a very successful food photographer of cookbooks.
Beautiful cookbooks.
Yeah, Tartine, Manresa. I think he did Dandelion Chocolate. Mm-hmm. Incredible pictures. And so I rang him up and said, hey, do you ever shoot album covers? He's like, well, actually I've done a few and I'd love to do one. And then Laura found, through Airbnb, found this 500-acre cattle ranch out in West Marin,
Uh-huh.
Point Reyes. And we went out there, and there's all these buildings there, and it's just a great place to shoot. And he's just a really, really great photographer.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Great guy, great photographer.
Great guy. And it was interesting when I was asking him about whether he wanted to and felt comfortable to shoot an album cover. Even though he mainly was shooting pictures of food, he said, well, really, if you really look at the cookbooks, I'm shooting people. Not really shooting food. Like, the food's along for the ride, but to him it was about the people that, were behind these restaurants, all the chefs, the wait staff, the purveyors, so many people involved with making a restaurant successful and sort of a vision that a chef has. So it was really a great experience. One funny thing, when we were there on the ranch, we were on a deck of one of the buildings, and the woman who was running the place just popped her head out and said, hey, I'm working from home. Can you come back in an hour? It's fine, but I'm on the phone right now. Just, have you checked out the dance studio 2 barns down? We're like, a dance studio in a barn? So we went down to this barn, and one half is like a big catering kitchen, and the other half was like this big rectangular room with like sawdust on the floor and a stage with wrought iron railing and lights and chandeliers. And a tractor parked under one of the chandeliers.
It was incredible.
It was, we got some good shots there. And in fact, Eric, the photographer, who also has done some video, he walked in and said, because I have to shoot a video for you right here. We're going to invite 100 of your best friends and do a big party. And so
if you're in town
if you're in town, well,
I'm there. Fly into where, San Francisco or
so the picture thing really worked out well. It was just as they say, serendipity, I guess.
Truly.
Oh yeah, I mean, nothing like a great album cover. Is this now? Obviously, this is available digitally, but can we get all this in CD and LP form? Will that all be coming out?
Yeah, I mean, definitely going to be some CDs available. We really want to make vinyl.
We really want
to. We're big vinyl fans.
Sure.
We'll have to see. We're having our graphic designer did the design for the vinyl record. Just have to see when the right time is to press it. I mean, we have a few other, monetary priorities, like the publicist and digital marketing and radio promotion, like so. But I suspect, somewhere at the beginning of next year, we'll be able to put out a vinyl pressing, which I would absolutely love to do. We have a turntable in our kitchen. We both have our record collection still, and we have a working 1950s Seaberg jukebox.
Oh, neat.
45s, which is really fun when you're when we had dinner parties, people would get to a certain point in terms of the consumption of wine, tequila, etc.
Oh yeah,
became like the center of attention.
Hopefully that will happen again soon one day. But yeah, there's something about, it's funny how LPs are now like $25 a pop, whereas I remember it was like down to $6, $7, $8. It's so rare now.
Yeah. But it's surprising. once we set up the turntable in the kitchen a few years back, that I discovered like there's all these little record stores all over the city. Some really, really good ones. So
yeah, it's nice to have that feeling of it, and to see the lyric sheet and to really see how it's all come together with all the photographs. So I love seeing that too. So hopefully you'll be able to get that out, within the next year.
And to me, there's nothing better than that. Like you put the record on, you're just staring at the album, reading the liner notes and reading the lyrics. There's room for that. It's just it was a very good way to release music, I think. Still the best way for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to be able to take it wherever you can go. I remember, this kind of dates me, I remember 8-track was such a big thing because you could take it in the car and play things whenever you wanted to. But the format was just absolutely horrible. But, nowadays it's digitally, you could take it with you. But it's kind of nice to probably have both.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting. I just read an interview with Brian Eno.
Yeah.
Counting the story of when he was walking around in New York in the 70s, and a friend of his who was a composer, he ran into him, and he saw him walking down the street, and he had on a pair of headphones and was listening to a Walkman. And he said, I thought to myself, and I just, my observations, led me to think, that's never going to happen. That looks stupid. Only to, now know that everybody walks around with little TVs in their pocket and headphones and earbuds and whatever.
Whoever would have thought? Yeah, it was like impossible to predict that. You could just take it with you everywhere, including watching a movie on your phone. It's insane.
I have to actually give credit to Dana Carvey, who said in one of his latest comedy routines about how people walk around with little TVs in their pocket all the time. He does this bit where he's doing a conversation between Paul McCartney and John Lennon.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Paul's telling John, oh, everybody walks around with little TVs in their pocket now. John cannot understand that at all. And he's, of course, the master of impersonations.
Oh, I love him. Yeah, he did a whole bunch of stuff with Conan on his podcast, Conan O'Brien, and I just love that. Yeah, there's something about Dana Carvey from Northern California as well. Just a lot of talent from up there. I once interviewed Huey Lewis, who's from that area. Oh, what a sweetie.
Yeah, I hear.
Marin County. I mean, it's just been. It's heartbreaking when, you read the stories of him the last year or two about him having problems with his hearing. And you just really feel for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He sounds like he's got it together. He really keeps everything in perspective. He's like really uber intelligent, just like very, very quick and very intelligent. I think he skipped a grade growing up there too. Wow. Really, really smart guy. A lot of fun. What was it like shooting the video for the single? And who did you work with on that?
It was cold.
What's your memory, Laura?
I've never been so cold in my life.
Wow.
Nashville in January.
It was about 30, 31, 32 degrees. And the video was pretty much all shot outside.
All outside. And it was written for me to be barefoot in this. And I got out of that because it was just ridiculous. But
the people,
the crew,
the people on the crew were just Aces. So nice.
Angels.
Just the nicest people. In fact, almost every single Uber driver we had while we were in Nashville, super
salt
friendly.
To the earth. It's like great people.
You wouldn't get those conversations out here.
Yeah, I mean,
fabulous director Anna Haas, who was really wonderful on it.
Yeah, so smart.
Made Laura feel really comfortable. That was important.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you can come down to the South and do a tour down this way. It's a really great region. I grew up in the Midwest in Ohio, in Cleveland, and been down here in the Atlanta area for over 31 years, and it's just been great.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. We'd love to.
Haven't been to the South very much. Really, really want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and people, yeah, you're welcome to anywhere here. It's like you play any of these venues here. We got such a great mix of people who come here to play in the Atlanta metro area. It's really nice. I mean, hopefully you'll get to do that soon. So, what other songs do you have on tap for this evening?
This one is the faster tune called "Take a Step," which is kind of an autobiography for me, having moved on from my other profession last year after doing it for many, many years.
Yeah.
It was a much more practical occupation that I didn't love, but it turned out I was pretty good at it, and it had similarities to being a musician because that one was also very math heavy job. So this is just about my sort of leaving that one behind and just moving forward and not even worrying about things. I don't want to worry about everything. I just want to see where this takes me, So it's called Take a Step.
For this day, now I can leave it all behind and take a step into the unknown. Never look back, never look back. Where I go from here, I don't know, but ain't it a wonderful thing? Not knowing what tomorrow will bring. Got my 3 pairs of boots, that's all I need. I'm taking a stab into the unknown, and I'm never looking back. I got my 3 pairs of boots, that's all I need. Fell into a job that fit. I knew I should have quit. What started out as part-time became 9 to 5 on the line. Good money kept me there, but it became my cross to bear. 'Cause that job was not me. I was trapped, not free. I'm taking a step into the unknown, and I'm never looking back. I got my 3 pairs of boots, that's all I need. I'd set aside my passion, I had delayed my fate. I made the wrong decision, I hope it's not too late. My term is up, my time was served. I'm moving on to chase my dreams. It's been many, many years, and now that day is finally here, it seems. I'm taking a step into the unknown, and I'm never looking back. I got my 3 pairs of boots, that's all I need. 1 pair for drinking, 1 pair for dancing, 1 pair for everything else. I got my 3 pairs
Excellent. How was it leaving how long were you in that career, your day job?
That one was
decades.
Decades. You know, a long time. Started doing it when I was just finishing college in my mid-20s.
Wow.
It was a very responsible job. I was running my own business and working as a tax accountant. So I was doing a lot of tax returns, tax consulting. I had a great group of clients. It grew to just, an insanely large practice, but I dealt with a lot of people in the arts, filmmakers and writers and musicians. I mean, that's where I met Eric.
Wow.
There's where I met the filmmaker, my friend Ren. They all were clients and it just ended up with a lot of friends from it all. So the client part was great. The other part, dealing with the government, dealing with money was very responsible.
Real downer.
Yeah, real stressful. So.
I'm sure. It must have been so liberating to say, I'm at this point. I could do my real passion now.
Yeah, I mean, I'd always been playing the whole time, doing the other job as well, so it never stopped, but it certainly made things more challenging when, it wasn't just a job that I went to work, 8 hours a day. It was my own business, and given the nature of that particular business, there are times of the year when you're working 10, 12, 14-hour days, and you're going 7 days a week.
Those deadlines.
And then a deadline comes, and all of a sudden it's like, the clouds open, and you're free. But then, I described it to my friends as it was like tax season was like you're at the bottom of a giant mountain with like switchbacks, and you're like,
oh yeah,
switchbacks, and you can't see anything in front of you, and then all of a sudden you're at the top. April 15th, and there's a $5,000 mountain bike waiting for you there, and this beautiful long ride down into this gorgeous valley, that you take leisurely, but then you end up right back at the bottom of the mountain where the switchbacks are, because another year has gone by and you're right back to starting again. So, but this time my path down the mountain into the valley, I didn't end up back at the switchback trail. I moved into a different country known as the music country. So I'm very happy to leave that job behind.
Nice. That's very inspirational. There's so many of us out there, you're slogging in the day job, and you got your side gig going, and people dream of that. So that's very, very inspirational to hear that you were able to achieve that.
It just sort of happened. I didn't plan it, but it certainly that job had big upside and a really big downside.
What a great collection of songs. I like the song Roller Coaster Ride. That's Roller Coaster is really cool.
Thanks. It's one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
That because of how an album gets released, our management has said to us, look, don't really play any song that hasn't been released yet, because a number of the songs, like 5 of the songs, are getting premieres.
Right.
Released, and they want, premiere meaning like they've got the exclusive first take on it. So we're sort of limited to playing either the first album at this point, or playing some of the songs off the new album that have either been premiered or that have already been premiered or that won't be premiered. So Roller Coaster, I'm not sure. I think that it might be getting a premiere. I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah. It's just really the way how do you come about sequencing the tracks for every project?
That's tricky. It's always tricky.
Yeah, it takes months and months to kind of figure that out, and as you're working on the record, you're thinking, oh, well, the order's going to be this, and then you get another 2 months in, and some of the songs start to reveal themselves as they get finished, and oh no, the order's going to change, because I really think that this one should go up here, and I think that we are probably...
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Moving the order around literally all the way up to the very end. And which one of the things that was interesting is that when we got to the very end, when the album was completely mixed, mastered, everything, as we're listening to it, we decided 2 of the songs aren't quite as good as the other 10. We had 12 originally.
Yeah.
So we pulled 2 songs off the album. There was another song that we really, really liked, but we didn't think we did a good enough job on it. Didn't like the arrangement. It was a song that came early on, and by the time we got to the end of the record, we had changed our approach to how we were recording, the way that all the songs kind of fit together, the inspiration of the Long Rider, and that song still liked it, but we just went back. We thought that version, when we finished, wasn't right.
Yeah.
Went back, retracked the music. She sang it again, and it's on the record. It's the one called "Summer of Love." That you just don't know what's going to fit where. So literally, when we did that, we redid that song, and it jumped up in the order. And then I redid the intro to "Everywhere I Go." Pulled out. It was starting with full band, but I pulled that out, and now it's just guitars. And so that, as a result, that one jumped up in the order.
And Long Rider got pulled.
Oh yeah, and we actually had a song called Long Rider.
Oh, really? Title track.
Yeah. The title track, but in fact, somebody asked us, like, well, how'd you come up with the name Long Rider? Because usually people name an album after a song that's on it. It's like, well, there was a song called Long Rider, but
there is a song called
there is.
Yeah.
It was one that
was tough.
It was one of the 2 that got pulled at the very end.
Yeah. Artists make it look so easy, and it's such magic how it all comes together. And whereas the consumer, we're just getting it all packaged, but we don't know the blood, sweat, and tears that went behind all this stuff.
It's a long journey. Each album is definitely a long journey, and it's difficult. You have to push through the hard times and the frustrations, and then there's just the surprises, the unexpected, out of left field things that just are so great.
So great. Yes. I like those little miracles that happen.
There's another song on there which we had finished recording it, and I really liked the song, especially the music, but I knew I just couldn't reconcile to the fact that I hadn't gotten the lyrics right. The subject matter I liked, but the lyrics, no matter how I fit it, massaged it, edited, it just wasn't right. At the very end, after we finished recording it, I just said, it's just not it. It's just, we can't keep it on the record. And Laura had suggested right around that time of recording a song that she had written like 6 years ago. And I went back and listened to that. I said, well, I really like the lyrics, but musically it's not quite right. And I was still just very unhappy that this other song, which I really loved the music to, was just going to get left behind. And I woke up early the next morning, like 7:30 a.m. on a Sunday, went to the studio, and I thought, what if I put Laura's lyrics from that song she wrote 5-6 years ago onto this music that I just threw away the lyrics? And it worked. And I woke her up, like quickly woke her up, and she was not convinced, and she came in the studio.
Yeah, you told me about your idea, and I thought, oh, no, you don't. I don't think so. But
and then she said,
it worked when I heard it. That was the crazy
you sang a verse and a chorus.
Yeah,
I was like, okay.
When I heard them go together.
And that was it. And that's a song called Low.
So you never know. I guess the lesson there is you got to be open.
Yeah, you can have like
it's not always the easy.
I'm more of the planner, organized person. I think, okay, the record's going to go just like this, and of course, it's it's never a straight path. It's never how I think it's gonna go. So.
Yeah, you're the more orderly one. You have your left and right brain must fight all the time because you're so good at math and but you got such an artistic side too. So it's probably always like that.
Well,
yeah, pretty much.
It's definitely a battle, and one of the really great things is working with Laura, who's come at music from a completely different point of view. She never studied music, so she's not inhibited by the education of music. I try not to be. Like, I really strive to forget all the technical stuff that I've learned and just let it flow. But I still talk to other musicians, in the music language, like, oh, try the D6-9. What if we, pull out, what if you go to a bar of 2/4 right there, But she will come up with things that I would never be able to think of because my mind is too sort of orderly. Hers is just free. She doesn't have the limitations in there. So
I'm like Rain Man in this scenario.
That's our cat.
It's all right, yeah.
But there was a song that we just finished working on a few months ago, where she said, "Okay, I really like the song. I think it could make the next record, but I don't like the chorus. The lyrics are good, but I don't like where it is." And she goes, "I'm hearing this melody," and she sang it to me. So it's like, okay, well, I'll put some chords to that.
He was fighting me. You were fighting me with that chorus. You were very resistant.
But it worked out really good. It's really beautiful. But I also recognize that I never could have thought of that. I never would have thought of that combination of those chords going together. It's just... it just would not have been where my thinking would have taken it. And her being so much more open about just hearing things without thinking about, oh, that chord is the E9 or whatever,
It was a very Kate Bush.
It worked out great.
Yeah.
It really, really worked out great.
Absolutely beautiful. That's fantastic. And you're already on to the next project. You're already thinking and starting to write down.
Yeah,
yeah, we are.
A lot of songwriting.
How many songs? We're like 5 or 6 songs into the new
We've got 8.
Oh.
8 songs that were kind of start at the beginning stages of final production. They're all kind of fleshed out in demo round. But there's probably another 7 or 8 or 9 that I wrote that didn't make it into.
It's amazing.
This part of the process. So.
Oh my God.
Definitely. What's the recording process like? Do you go in? Is it a lot of layers? Do you basically organically go in and just go through takes fully, or do you build it up like say a Jeff Lynne type who just like really has heavy production?
I love Jeff Lynne.
Me too.
I think that for us, the way there are steps to it. So, either one of us will write a song, play it for the other one. The other person says yes or no, and if it's a yes, Then we go into doing a very detailed demo. I go into doing a very detailed demo where you're just trying to figure out all the pieces to the puzzle. So I'm constantly trying things, and it's challenging. I mean, you hit the wall a lot of times as you're trying to create all the parts that
play all the instruments.
Oh yeah,
which is so crazy to me. I mean, I don't know how you do it.
Because I pretty much play, other than the drums, I'm playing everything else.
Wow.
So in the studio, I mean, I would love to own 15 electric guitars, but I don't need them. I only want them. But I still have 10 guitars in there, but each one serves a purpose. There's an electric 6-string, electric 12-string, a baritone electric, nylon string, 6-string, 12-string acoustics. This past year I bought a mandolin and a banjo and taught myself how to play. So as I'm creating the demos and figuring out all the parts, I'm like constantly grabbing guitars and trying to fit everything together and playing keyboards, and eventually it's like cooking a dish. Like eventually the dish is done and there it is. And those demos then the next step is going to final production, where you're doing things in a more exact manner, not so much trying to be perfect in playing them, but making sure that all the transitions work between verse to chorus, like so, and a lot of the little things. When I'm doing demos, I'm plugging all the guitars directly in to the workstation. In final production, all the guitars are mic'd, or all the amps are mic'd, because that's just a much better sound. So the demo versions are the roadmap to the final production. I'm not doing the final production exactly like the demo, but probably 80 to 90% of the pieces of the puzzle of a song in a demo make it to the final version. And Laura's kind of she sort of stays out of, when I'm, like up to my eyeballs and all that, but she'll come in with the big picture perspective about what works and what doesn't, because at a certain point I can't tell. I'm so, as they say, you can't see the forest because you're buried in the trees. So it's good to have an outside opinion here when I'm working on the songs in production. And then we have, like I mentioned, a couple of insiders. Two different mix engineers who live down in Southern California, and a really good friend of ours who's a big A&R guy, and our manager. And they all, they listen and give us their brutally honest opinions, which are very helpful as well. So that's how the whole process. And then it goes to mixing, and they're back and forth, with the mix engineers, and then on to mastering, and that's kind of it. It's a 5, 6, 7 step process.
Good. Well, the result is amazing. Did you have another song you'd like to play out with this evening?
We could do one off the first record, which is kind of the song that we usually end the show with.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
This one was inspired by Laura's mom, who grew up in Tucumcari, New Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Just had a lot of great stuff to draw on when
You
I
put
was
some
writing
history in there, though.
Yeah, there's history of the town and
true history. The lore, the lore behind it.
Yeah, the lore behind Tucumcari, and about the song Route 66, which was written in 1946 by a guy who was just out of the Army and going to Hollywood.
Yeah.
And he ended up writing a lot of songs. He wrote, Frank Sinatra recorded a song by him. He became an actor. He was on MASH. He was in some other shows. Just a great story. And there he was, driving down Route 66, going out to Hollywood. It's really a good story.
Yeah.
Anyway, this one's called Hey, I'm on My Way.
Hey, I'm on my way to Amarillo from Albuquerque. Yeah, I'm on the mother road known as Route 66. Bobby T knew it well when he wrote that famous song. Hey, I'm on my way to Amarillo from Albuquerque. Stopped over in Tucumcari, one of those forgotten towns. Hanging out with some locals, hanging out at the Lizard Lounge. They told the story of how the town got started when it was called Six Shooter. That's where Black Jack Ketchum made his reputation. Hey, I'm on my way to Amarillo from Albuquerque. Yeah, I'm on the mother road known as Route 66. And most who settled there called it Jeffra, named after star-crossed lovers. Two young braves who fought to their death for the love of the Indian chief's daughter. Even though she had an eye for only one, after Tucum got stabbed in the heart, Carrie killed the other brave, then she killed herself. Hey, I'm on my way to Amarillo from Albuquerque. And he called out to Tucumcari before he took his own life. That's how the town got its name. Inspired by a story of true love and a night of tequila shots, me and my man decided to get hitched at the Route 66 wedding chapel. We spent the night at the Blue Swallow Motel. Hey, I'm on my way to Amarillo from Albuquerque. Yeah, I'm on that mother road known as Route 66. Bobby T knew it well when he wrote that famous song. Hey, I'm on my way to Amarillo from Albuquerque. On the highway from another time, where we just wanted to be free. I'm on my way.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful evening. I got a free concert here, pretty much. I've been from Amarillo to Albuquerque. My family, we drove from Ohio to my family in Los Angeles area. We went that way. I remember Albuquerque very well.
You've been there.
Oh, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I love New Mexico.
Me too.
Yeah. We're huge New Mexico, Santa Fe fans. It's pretty special.
Neat. Well, I appreciate your time this evening. It was wonderful. Take care.
You too.
Thank you so much. Really nice meeting you. Really appreciate it.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.